Alright, I wanted to go over a week in review of ownership of this truck. So I've tried to make a couple videos and it just hasn't, I've always gotten interrupted and whatnot. So anyway, this is a week and a half in review. So as you can tell, the brush guard's gone. Those things apparently were around $1,000, so I was able to sell it on Marketplace for 500 bucks. And actually took that money and bought some tires. So these are stock height tires. I think they're 275 55/20s, and they're Michelin's. But I did want something a little more aggressive than these, but the ones that they had, they're used tires. The other ones I had, they were chopped on the inside like the ones that I already had, so obviously I didn't want those. So these, they ride a lot better, you know. They don't make the truck look very aggressive, you know, which I guess it doesn't really matter. It's not like I'm gonna be off-roading the truck or anything. So rides a lot better, and the road noise is gone. And I also removed it had a lift block in here above right in here. They had a lift 2-inch block to raise the front up, and I removed that. And then the truck had such a horrible rake that I removed the back one. It did not look like a factory block. It was it looked nicely constructed, but I believe the factory blocks on these trucks, or Fords in general, you know, is like a solid inch or inch and a half block or something. But you know, typically your 4-wheel drives have some sort of a block in the back, you know, that's why they do the leveling kit in the front. So anyway, I removed all that, got it back down, got the brush guard off. Used the money to get tires, and then the headlights on this truck, they're H13 halogens, and they just have no light output. It's a very dull, dim light. So I did some research. I think 13 models had a projector style headlight, but finding them was difficult, the price of them, and then I think there were some wiring changes that needed to be made. So I got some LED bulbs that go in this housing, and they were 100 bucks for both of them. So the brush guard paid for the tires and the lights, and they are better than the halogen H13s, but I mean, to be honest, I was expecting a little bit more. Something's up with this grill. It's like real flimsy. I don't know I haven't taken it apart to try to figure out what it is, but when you close the hood, it rattles real bad, and then there's a black piece behind here that keeps blowing up over time going down the road. So I don't know why they attached it to the hood, but anyway, I'll address that when it bothers me more. So let's see. Somebody commented about it was a half an EcoBoost. Well, now it's not an EcoBoost. All the badges are removed. I used a plastic scraper and got it off, and then I used a heat gun and the scraper to get the big glue stuff off. And what I found that works the best on removing the glue for stuff like this is hand sanitizer. And I'm sure we all have a few gallons of that laying around from years gone by. But there was a gentleman in our church that somehow he got boxes of masks and hand sanitizer and all the stuff from years gone by. And I took whatever I thought I could use, and there was still just boxes of it left over. So just dump it on a microfiber towel, and then just keep rubbing it, and then it'll take it all off. So I mean, it doesn't damage the paint and looks good. And so then I also removed the one on the back. It had the flex one on the back, so I got that off. And so then I did exhaust on it. So I didn't have a chance to do the full from the turbos to the connection, which is about right here. So from here back is 4-inch, and I did the pipe right there. And so this is all leftover pipe from the diesel exhaust that I had on the orange truck, and actually the muffler that came in the kit from the orange truck. And then the long pipe that connects was from the stacks that were on the orange truck when I got it. So I was able to put together a whole 4-inch catback exhaust for nothing. And for whoever said that these trucks sound horrible with exhaust, you're absolutely correct. It does. These trucks do sound like garbage. But I'll show you real quick. So there's the 4-inch muffler, and then I used the factory brackets off the stock muffler, and then 4-inch up to here. So, and then this right here is where I had to plate it, where they had the 90-degree connection for the stack. So, you know, it doesn't look terrible. It doesn't really sound or drone going down the road. So when I get the Jeep off the lift, I'm gonna redo the front Y pipe section in 3-inch, and then I've got a Banks cold air ram air kit on the way. So I think that'll be here end of this week or next week, something like that. So I'm really excited about getting that on there. And the other thing, when they were doing the wheels and tires, I checked the brakes, and front and rear were almost metal to metal. So I went ahead and put new brakes on it all the way around. And so far, first tank of gas, I think I hand calculated a little over 15 miles to the gallon, which I was impressed with, coming from the orange truck getting 7 and the red truck gets 12. So when I first got it, I didn't know how to reset all the gauges and all the trip odometer and all that stuff on it. So I figured out how to do all that, and so when I calculated it, most of those miles were with that brush guard, and then that brush guard was very heavy. I don't know what it weighed, but it was extremely heavy. And then it had the taller tires. So with the taller tires, the speedometer is going to read slower, which isn't going to show as many miles as you actually went. So that's going to skew your calculation. But the truck's readout said 15.5 average mile per gallon for that tank, and I hand calculated 15.1. So when I got the truck, the trip average mile per gallon was on 14, and with me driving it, it had come up to 14.1. So once I put the stock height tires on it and ran that other tank of gas, and I run premium in it, I reset the trip or average mile per gallon, and when I pulled in the driveway just now, it's showing 15.7 miles per gallon. So I haven't checked to see how many miles I put on this tank. I'm almost to a half a tank of gas. So so far I'm very pleased with the truck. It drives well, it runs well. I like the bottom end takeoff it has. These are 355 gears in it, and I don't know what ratio the transmission, the 6 speeds are in these. I know in GM first gear is like 4.03 or something like that. So I'm sure it's got a steep first gear in the 6R80. I think that's what it is. But I did a fluid and filter change in it. I measured what came out of it, put a new filter in it, and then pumped back in it what I took out of it. Plus, and the Chevrolets, you typically run 1 to 2 quarts overfull on like a 6L80 or 6L90. So I did a little bit over what I took out because there's going to be some residual left in the filter. Of course, I spilled some, and you know, just because. So I put just a little bit more, and then the Ford, actually it has a cap that screws in, so you unscrew it, and then it has like a little dipstick in there. So I checked it, and it was at the top of the little mark on the thing. So it runs and shifts fine. And then I drained the transfer case, and then topped it off, refilled it. You know, I just wanted to change the fluids and everything, so I know where I'm starting from, because the oil that was in it didn't look bad, but you know, I just don't know how long it's been in there, and I want to start fresh with it. So with the exhaust and then the intake coming, I've contacted 5-star tuning, I believe it is, and they have a couple different platforms that you can tune from, SCT, and they show an HP tuners, but it's for I guess the old N-gauge they used to have, and then I believe there's something, I guess it plugs into the OBD2, and it's just for to read and write or something. I really don't know. So I've emailed them the file that I read from here with my MPVI2, and asked them if they can make the changes to that file, because I would like to do a 93 performance and tow tune and an 87 economy tune, and hopefully they'll get back with me. I've called and left messages and everything, but I still haven't heard back. So like I say, I just emailed them the file that I read from the truck, my as found file, and then we'll see, you know, if I can get a tune from them. I really don't want to buy another platform just for this truck, you know, since I'm already set up with my MPVI2, and I read the file in the truck and I have it and can look at it. So, you know, I'm hoping that they can work with me, or if y'all know anybody that somebody that tunes these with HP tuners that I can contact, you know, that'd be good too, just to have somebody else. But I mean, what they could do is, however they normally do it, just read it with HP tuners and then do a file compare and make the changes in mine and send it to me. Would really be all they'd need to do. But anyway, hopefully I'll hear back from them. I'm getting alignment done tomorrow, hopefully, after removing, because I had to remove the lower control arms to get the spring down low enough to get that spacer out. And I'm trading the what's left of the diesel exhaust, the stacks that were in the bed of the orange truck, to my buddy. I posted them on Marketplace, and he messaged me about getting them from me. So I was like, look, man, if you can just align the front end for me, I'll give them to you. So he said we can work that out. So tomorrow I'm going to get the front end aligned back up after removing the 2-inch spacers, and then like I say, I'm excited about the cold air intake. And then from what I gathered about the tunes on these trucks, apparently they're very conservative, and I believe there's something to do with the throttle as far as how quickly it responds to the throttle and that sort of thing. So, you know, it might not be a big increase in power from the tune, but it's kind of like the GM trucks, you know, just the drivability of turning on power enrichment and just a little stuff that you can go in there and do that really make a big difference in how they run and drive. The Banks package that they had, it was actually a 3-inch catback, and then it was the cold air, ram air, and then it was their tune, and they claimed 70 or 80 horsepower and over 100 foot-pounds of torque. So the 5-star, I don't know if they claimed anything, but there was another one called MPT, and they claimed over 100 horsepower and 130 or something foot-pounds. So, I'm hoping that it'll be at least 100 horsepower increase with the cold air intake, the tune, and then the exhaust and everything. And then, obviously it should make a little more torque. But like I say, so far I really like the truck. I enjoyed driving it. It really is a nice truck. I mean, I know it's old. It is an 11, but Clifford's an 03, so it is quite a change coming up to something like this. And then with this being a Platinum, it has a backup camera, which I guess we're all used to that nowadays. But the stuff I drive doesn't have it, so it's kind of nice to have. And then the heated and cooled seats and the navigation and all that stuff. So but anyway, that's it for now. I just want to do an update on it, and in my week and a half of ownership of it, and what all I've done for it and what's coming with it.